Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to first episode of Ripster Daily Trade and Daily Teachings for 2025. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everybody had a great New Year. So, all right, guys. So first trading recap, first recap, and for the new year today. Bearish start of 2025. Although we were choppy in start of the day and then some sell off in middle of the day. So we'll recap that how we handle the SPY QQQ today. We'll go through the timestamp recap. I'll show you that. Anyways, we'll talk about our trades. Before we start, let's do a quick introduction. A lot of new followers joining. So introduction for them. So these trading recaps, these teachings, guys, are from either any trade ideas that I shared on previous YouTube videos, on my Twitter X, or mostly from our community. All these trade recaps and teachings, be it a day trade, swing trade, or we are doing an investing name for long-term investments. We trade a repeatable system that thousands of traders across the world use to trade consistently. Ripster EMA Cloud, so you can Google it. And we trade repeatable setups. These are the setups. System is how you trade. Setup is what you trade. This is what I show you in most of my recaps every day. So we'll talk about that. And every morning we have a game plan. We have a game plan that me and my team, we create this game plan. What you see was today's game plan. It consists of news plays, upgrades, downgrades, earnings, marketplace. Marketplace is the stocks which move with the market, but they have some news. And usually I highlight any top focus. For example, Apple, Tesla, Uber. Those were kind of my top focus plays today that I had highlighted in my game plan. And I have a support and resistance and initial game plan. For example, Apple, initial game plan was bearish bias to short. Tesla, of course, we had a bearish bias to short as well. So for example, right, so we will go in detail through those trades and see how they panned out. In addition to our initial game plan, what we also provide every day is called day 2, day 3 setups. Day 2, day 3 setups is a repeatable strategy that I did a free webinar on. It's a different strategy which is based upon any stocks which were moving yesterday, day before yesterday, which had any kind of news. These are usually pretty good setups when we have earnings season, but this is good. You can watch my previous YouTube videos. You can learn about these. There's a good setups. In addition to that, we provide levels for daily levels for SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, NVDA. All those marketplace. These are the marketplace. These are the stocks which are part of the major indexes, and they move with the market. So this is called marketplace. So when the market is short, then the whole market is short, or whole market is long. We can trade any of these stocks, either long or short. We can either buy long calls or buy puts. If it's a short, you can pause the screen, see these levels, and see how the market worked out on these levels. You see VIX levels as well. And we use the same EMA cloud system to trade these. So anyways, we provide everything, all this to the traders in the community. In our community, we have 3-4 option flow scanners. We have news bars, breaking news alerts. We'll talk about a breaking news play that really worked out nicely for everybody in the community today. And then we have scanners, stock scanners, support and resistance alerts, and we have a vibrant community of 1,000+ traders on our trading floor every day, sharing trade ideas day in, day out, to find those opportunities to make some profits in the market. In addition to that, I'm on the voice first few hours of the market open. Sometimes I'm on the voice all day, guiding the traders through the market, letting them know what's the market doing. They should be shorting, or they should be long, or they should sit on the hands. Try to make sure that all traders in our community are making the right decisions and not getting chopped out or losing their hard-earned money. So this is what our focus is: win big, lose small. If we have losers, try to keep those losers small. Only trade good setups, repeatable setups, which we can trade again and again and again for rest of our life without any guesswork. So that's the introduction. Let's start with the recap of the plays in the community today. I will show you my timestamp guidance, and I'll share the setup and how you could have traded it if you were in the community, or if you were in the community and you did not trade it really well, you can listen to this recap and see how best to trade those. Few important concepts we will cover today's MTF clouds, VIX concepts, Ripster, EMA clouds. So let's start. All right, so let's talk about SPY, guys. So we're gonna talk about SPY QQQ. Before I talk about the SPY QQQ, even last year, when 2024 stat, we had so in last year we had first few days of profit taking on the market, and market started to run around January 6th. Not saying that it's going to start running then. We don't know what market's going to do, but market is stuck at a certain level. If you see the daily chart, we are down like 4%. You can see that market is kind of this is SPY. If QQQ, if you look at SPY, you see the market has pulled back to this level already 2 times, and we are just now stuck at this support range with we have a gap down here, right here, that we need to fill. We are just 4% down. It's not a big 4-5%, not a big correction yet, but I would rather have a little bit more sell off, and then we start to get back on the bullish trend. The long term, we did break a little bit of long term trend line, or if I can even draw it short term trend line, I will call it, but we do have support here, so that's why we're seeing a lot of chop around this area. So what's happening is we see chop around this area, and the SPY is neither breaking down, neither pushing up. You can see that if I look at the Ripster EMA cloud, we're going to talk about that. I will show you how the SPY is under the daily 50 EMAs. QQQ is under daily 50 EMAs. We are under all the EMAs on SPY. So technically we are in a bearish mode right there. Other problem we are having right now is VIX is not breaking down. VIX is kind of neither is going over 18 and nor is breaking down. So something has to break. Either VIX breaks down back to 14 bucks, or if VIX pushes over 18, we are gonna see some more sell-off on SPY, right? The important thing is the yields were going crazy today, and when the yields go crazy, the stocks get impacted. So we need a few things here. We need yields to cool down. We need VIX to stay under 18 and fade. I don't know if US dollar is strong as well. So that's all of the headwinds causing a problem to the market. So anyways, so that's a big picture view. Still not out of the woods on the SPY QQQ. Let's see here. So anyways, so looking at that intraday picture, right, the key thing is to know, are we going to go long? Are we going to go short? Like I always say, market always has a personality, right? Some days it's a choppy personality, some days it's a trending personality. So SPY was pretty tough mid of the day. But let's see. So the morning candle, this is our amateur move. Both were short. You see the morning trade, both were shorts from 588 to this gap fill. Right, the gap fill was right here at around 586s, but that was the trade. So you have to be quick in and quick out. I could probably show you guys the morning the options on SPY to see that how that move went, and just see. Let's see. So let's look at 584s, right? So in the morning when we had that big flush, you can see that how 585s were 585s pushed from that level. 1 second here. So this was where the market opened. This is this week's 585 puts. They're trading at $1, and on the first minute it went from $1 to 97. You can see that on that quick fade, that was a 100% trade. So if you're trading the amateur move, you need to be pretty fast, quick, get in, lock half, and then close the rest once it starts to push over the clouds. So anyways, so the market in the morning, you can see my timestamp guidance, we were bearish, so that's fine, but we did not see any follow through after the gap fill, and that's fine, right? So I said cover some in the gap fill, and we can more lower if it breaks the gap fill. So when it doesn't do the gap fill breakdown, then you have started thinking about covering that, right? If you, let's say you were in that put that I just talked to you about, and then you just have to cover that, because if you made 100%, you make lock rest of it, and by the time it's break even, you have to get out, right? Because it's trying to turn bullish. So that's why we close the puts into 10 a.m. We close the puts. That's fine. Now we close the puts once it pushed to the MTF clouds, but there's so much resistance here. I don't really feel comfortable going long, but yes, you could go long, because the problem is this: we are under yesterday lows, we are under pre-market lows, and we are also into 10 a.m. trend time, and that's when MTF cloud rejects, turns back bearish, And so that's what I said, not getting our MTF breakouts. We were waiting for this breakout. This is my MTF indicator. That's the EMAs from the daily and hourly 1 hourly chart. You see, we are not breaking out of that, and we are not going to make any money if it doesn't break out of that. And at the same time, if you look at VIX, so VIX was also kind of ramping up right around that time here in the morning. Let's see here. Okay, right. So VIX was also started to ramp right around 10:20 a.m. and you see that's when we started to break down. So we pull back. So if you're a good scalper, you can definitely short here, cover here. But if you're not covering, then you're gonna get chop, right? So that's choppiness happened. So there was a morning short. That's fine. Then you could short this 512s. And after that, I was not really interested when this happened. This I was sitting on my hands. I was like, I don't really want to do anything, because this is kind of waste of the time. Which you see, we were short for the gap fills, but after that, up down, that's a waste of time for me. I don't really want to do anything there, right? But then later in the day, we had that. Let me show you here. There was a breakdown alert that I sent right here. 1220, you see there have been two breakdowns on 512s. MTF rejects, you can buy puts here, make a little bit of money. You can buy puts again on this rejection or this 512. So there were two 512 rejections. Actually, there was three. One, this was 3450. There was 512 rejection 1 and 512 rejection 2. And that's when I sent the alerts. You see that 587 to 24. But this rejection was pretty explosive. And you look at Apple, you look at Microsoft, you look at VIX, and then you decide to take the short, because reason being, because this breakout was also with the VIX breaking out of 18. So why was this breakdown special than this breakdown or this breakdown? Because this was breaking down with the VIX breaking out of 18. So that's where you use your VIX SPY strategy, right? So yes, you can sit on your hands here, but that's fine. But this is where you start in and start to the short. This was a pretty big move, 587, 581, right? Because VIX is breaking down. So that's what I was on the voice. I told everybody, hold. VIX is going to go to 19, hold your shorts, and that's where you make the money. And that's where most of the stocks, we'll talk about Apple and all those separately, but you can see Apple, Microsoft, already the morning bearish, right? So we discuss Microsoft. I will discuss that. So you see that how Microsoft was fading with the market right at that time. So Microsoft was fading, then broke under our levels. Look at the levels that I had on Microsoft here. Where is it? 425, 424s. Then Meta was relatively stronger, but when market gave up, Meta faded. Amazon breaking the MTF clouds. You see that MTF clouds, both you short that. There's also a nice little trend line you can draw on Amazon. And then you look at other names. Google breaking down, you short that. You can look at Qualcomm was breaking MTF cloud, you short that. So literally you see the market is in sync. You know that market is weak, and you just you just need to get on something which is short, right? That's what I was saying, repeatable short setups. Google, Amazon, Meta, Netflix, all of them, all of them, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, those were all AVGO, those were midday shorts. And that's why we keep track of them. Or you can just short, or you can just trade QQQ, or you can go long TQQ, SQQQ to make money on the short side. So, the point is we want to profit of this midday flush. How would we know the flush? We are breaking 512. Yes, we broke 512 there again. That's fine. But this time it was a little different. This time we were breaking 18. So that's why it was a little different flush, right? And then it's why it's one more weaker flush. Microsoft was fading. Apple was fading. Everything was fading. So that becomes your midday shorts, guys. That's what you should focus on. That's why I try to do that. It was definitely choppy initially. Like we had a all day fair, the other day Friday we will short a lot of stuff, right? We had this SPY fade a few days back. Watch my recaps for the red days, explains that. But the only difference today was we had initial chop, And I even tweeted about it. So initially we were on chop, but as soon as I started to spike, I even tweeted about it and I said bearish trend from chop to bearish trend, from chop to bearish trend. And that's the opportunity that you can short on. And don't forget, we have MTF cloud rejections, and then we have this rejection, this kind of head and shoulder rejection, and then yesterday lows breakdown, low of the breakdown. So this is the opportunity to make money. Right, and the traders did, a lot of traders did make a lot of money there and bought the puts and all that, really nicely. It was really nice for the puts in middle of the day there. Frying pan killed it, ham, robocash, a lot of traders really killed that flush. When you see that flush from this area and you see there's a cloud rejections, so that's why the repeatable system you will not find anywhere else. You need to learn to be able to short the market. If you're trading options, you need to learn to buy the puts when you get the opportunity, and you need to be able to buy calls when you get the opportunity, right? But usually this midday sell-offs with the VIX spikes is a pretty good setup. All you needed was VIX and to make that decision. And I explained it to you why this sell-off was more deadly to make those trades. All right, let's go to the next one. Yeah, not to mention, I also on QQQ, I sent out the same alert when we broke that 512, right? I always send alerts when my system tells me. My system told me back to bearish. And since that alert, 1220s, we faded all the way down. All right, let's talk about Apple now. So Apple, number one play in the community. Something to note on the Apple today was, guys, okay, let me show you the daily chart first. Daily chart is breaking 20 EMA. So that's our MTF clouds. It will cover that. And daily chart is also breaking a big trend that we had for a long time, right? Apple has been up, but today was a big sell-off on Apple. Definitely high volume sell-off. Let's take a look here and let's see how we traded that Apple trade here. Okay, so let's see here. So Apple was one of our top focus. If you see, I had colored Apple red, and I said it's under, it has this MTF right here, 20 EMA, 20 MTF, bearish bias to short the pops, 248 support, 250 resistance. So right away, I told everyone bearish bias to short the pops. And what happens next? Let's see what happens here. Okay, let me see your timestamp entry. So as soon as it flushes, you take the short right away. MTF breaking down, there's a bearish flow coming in, ghost board is alerting the bearish flow. Then that's the amateur, right? Then it starts to bounce. That's fine. Then it starts to bounce, and that's where you cover, you wait. So there's an important rule that I shared in the community today, which is that anything that is extended from the EMAs can always gonna pull back towards the EMAs. So you see, it's always gonna pull. So this is important, right? So amateur move, that's fine. You short the first move, then you cover here, because look at this move, guys, 248 to 245s. So you see that 248 to 245, that's the first 10 minutes move. That's the amateur move. Now when this starts to bounce, I gave a warning that it's going to push back to 512s. You can hold it, that's no problem, but then you have to use the same stops at 248. But you have a bad entry here on your put, then that's a problem, right? So we looked at 245 puts to learn this. With the shares, it's no problem, right? Shares, I showed 247, I can hold for $2, no big deal, because even if I short it at 247, my risk was $1.50. I ended up making $5. So shares is no problem. This trade is super successful. But with the options, it becomes tricky for a lot of traders who do not know how to manage their options, right? If I want to go to the Apple options, let's say if I go there, Apple options, I'm going to show you. Let's see if we want to look at, let's just look at 250 puts, right? Just to be on the safe side, let's look at 250 puts. So 250 puts from $3 hit for $5, right? That's a good 50% trade right there. But when this pulls back, the 350 puts pulled back to 280s, and then it pulled back to 280s. That's fine. This is actually our entry, and this is what I said, 512 rejects. This is one of our short entry. What did I say in the pre-market planning? Short the pop, right? And that's where you add back again, and then Back low of the day is our target again, and I keep saying move the stops lower. I move the stops to 246.40 when we flushed there. Remember, we are not exiting. Then I moved the stops to more lower, and when we pushed here 245s, all day we kept moving our stops lower and lower and lower. And if you were trading 250 puts, even if you added 350, it went on 100, may give you 100% trade. The key is to respect the system, and that's how the Apple was short with the power of the MTF clouds. The system of a 10-minute short setup and the shorting the bounces, waiting for the amateur move bounce, and waiting for the best entry on 512s. All day short, beautiful trade, beautiful winner for everyone. We finally closed there when the 512 calls and the power of flow. A plus trade. You know, if you traded $1,000 worth of puts on that, you could easily make, you know, 3-4 grand on Apple puts today. And that's how we did it. Beautiful trade. Love it. Let's go to the next one. All right, now we're going to talk about Tesla, right? So let's see, what was Tesla doing? So Tesla, guys, on the daily chart, if you see, forget everything else, daily chart is breaking a big level. I talked about that, you know, I talked about this on Tesla, that previous resistance, new support. That's fine. It's pulling back. That's fine. It can easily pull back more to, you know, start a new trend. So anyways, once it broke that 400, 420, 415 level, and then 400, it was a lot of buyers bailed out, and it was a bearish, right? Not going to talk too much upon the bigger picture, but that was the point. So that's why when I saw Tesla that the delivery news is bad, it's gapping down, I said bearish bias under MTF clouds. So what did that mean? I mean, as long as under this MTF clouds, it's bearish, and it kind of faded much more and actually traded under yesterday lows, and then it fell from that 409s, 408s all the way to 396s, 392s. You know, it opened at 389s, 390s, and as soon as it did that, I told everybody right at the open that Tesla short. All right, let's recap it here. It's a little bit easy here. So anyways, when you saw the Tesla right away, I said short, no longs. I clearly said no longs. And Tesla flushed from the 386 guys all the way to 378. So right, like first in 10 minutes. And that's fine. You take your profit. When something is flushing so much, you take your profit. Then yes, Tesla bounced a little bit here. That's fine. You know, because it's, remember, it flushed from 388s all the way to 373s. That's a big dang flush. Of course, it's going to come back to 512s. I personally do not long it. I do not recommend these longs, but expert traders like Win came in, he saw something and he scalped the C minus scalp bounce from here to here. I don't personally recommend it. My bias is bearish because I know if it's bouncing so much, it will reject at the 512 clouds. And this is exactly what I did. Once it rejected here, I said 512 a rejection, bearish again, then you short again, then I got target again was 378. We hit our 378, then it went to start to go into the chop, right? So this morning short, this short, chop. And when it pushed up here, we closed our short and we tried to go long, but the long did not work because it failed, right? I gave a long, so this was a small long loser of $2 per share, but again, then it becomes a short again. Right, so the failed curls, I told everybody failed curls, and a lot of traders in the community short again and again. The target was 378. I was on the voice, and then I said the next target is 375, and we hit both our targets. We hit 378s, we hit 375s, even got a little bit more than 375. Because key here is, guys, that all day bearish trend. It was a little choppy, but remember at the same time, SPY QQQ kind of flushed, and this big, it's even better short trade. Right, shorting it right here from 382s, because you are having a very small risk. Short it here, don't worry about anything. Short it, buy the puts, and if you want to look at those puts, even on that second move on Tesla, when we fell off there, okay, let's look at 385 puts. So even those went from $7 to $14, right? $700. You made another $700 pretty easily, because that's our repeatable setup. No other system will give you this repetitive entries all day long, and that's where Tesla good. Yes, we lost on the curl, but that's fine. It's very small loss. We cut right here, but then you showed the sell off again, right from 383s to 374s, and market breaking down. You hold it, hold it, hold it. That's what some traders did in Apple. They did not hold it. You have to take care of these opportunities and make profits with them. So that was a Tesla short, another nice winner in the community. All right, let's look at a Boeing today. So let's go to the game plan again and see what Boeing was giving us. So Boeing today, Deutsche Bank raised a profit target by 215. I said long if MTF pullback holds. That's what I clearly said, 170 and 179 level. The thing was Boeing, let's see here, Boeing. So if you see here, Boeing broke through. So as soon as it breaks through these clouds, it becomes bearish. It's a short. Right away it becomes short. I was busy with the Tesla in the morning, but otherwise, I would have hit Boeing right away. And the profit target increase doesn't really mean anything. I can talk if the price action and the technicals are not at the same side. So Boeing was, even at 10 a.m., I was a little late. I said it's going to sell off. It's pretty heavy. And that was my guidance. And then I also talked about this bear flag and then the target. You see how from the one MTF cloud, we pushed to the next MTF cloud. So that was pretty good trade if you just followed the guidance on the Boeing 178, 179 level. Only long if MTF break. It's important not to long this thing, right? A lot of this guidance was on the voice. So I, can't show you here that, but you can literally see what Boeing was doing all day, right? All day short. Hussein was short, Cole, VR, a lot of other traders were all day short on Boeing. But we took a long here at 512 curls. This is when I took a long on 512 curl. And my entry was, I think, what was my entry? I was around 171. That I think I was around 171 and I took like almost $1.70 or something on that curl. Nothing crazy, a good entry would have been 170.80, so we could took like a $2 trade risking 60 cents. So that was a curl long here versus 170. That was a nice scalp. I missed most part of the short, but I made a little bit on the curl here. So repeatable short, guys, you see that doesn't mean it's an upgrade. It can still sell off, and then 512 repeatable longs. All right, so let's look at the MSTR now. So let's look at MSTR now. So MSTR was a loser today. The thing was MSTR was already pushing towards the MTF clouds. Of course, we're going to face some resistance, but when MTF pulled back to this 302 level and we took it long here, 300 was stops, but it couldn't push there, and then it became bearish, so you had to take off and take the loss and get out. But you cannot add here, it's more risky. So add was here and you stop out here for $2 to $3 risk and get out, and that was how it was a loser. You can clearly see that it's been rejecting the MTF clouds. So, and then the rest of the day was choppy. So that was clearly not a day like the earlier days we were short and then we were also long. Today was not the day for either of that. So that's why MTF was a loser. MSTR. There were a few other trades in the community. I was not on top of a few of them. I missed them. This was RGTI. It was on our game plan. I saw the volume, but I didn't see any news, so I didn't plan for it. But I kept it on my watch list, and it was from our quantum list. So RGTI is on a quantum. Remember, we talked about all these names, quantum names, nuclear names, all these names, how they are on the always on the watch list, because these were the hot sectors, and looks like the first day of the 2025 the sector continues to remain hot. So RGTI was one of them. And the first trade would have been this MTF cloud push, and then the second was this 3450 bounce. your stops right here, you take long here, and that was a really, really nice trade on RGTI all day long. Really well done by a lot of traders in the community who killed RGTI. Raj were on top of it, Mike, Hungry Coyote, they were all, we draw it. A lot of traders were on top of it, but it's definitely a good trade, guys. This is, look at it, MTF breakout from 16 first to 18, and then from pullback, then all the way to 20. Just amazing. So these are the repeatable setups. Remember these. RGTI and MTF clouds and 3450. All right, let's look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA was a winner today. It took little patience. So let's see here what we were talking about was the NVIDIA. So NVIDIA was on our game plan this morning. It was relatively stronger to the rest of the market. Bank of America top tech pick. So we said we will trade it. But this is MTF clouds. So you see most of these our top names were working. So trade versus MTF clouds. I gave the long an MTF clouds as soon as I saw this flow, but when it pulled back this red candle, then I said scratch it, right? Because market is heavy, so I scratched it, but then it became bullish again. I said long again versus 136. Just as soon as it pushed here, 136.30, long it again, and this time our target is 139. So from that long, we pushed. I said put the stops at 136 stops, and then patient finally paid. We hit towards 139, almost close to there, and we exited when we broke here. So you see this is nicely a $2 to $2.50 per trade on NVIDIA long. You can see the timestamp guidance here. If I show you for the option traders, of course much better with the shares, but for the option traders, let's say you were trading 136 calls, you can see that how those calls moved initially. Right from here, they moved from $1.70 to $3, pulled back $2, and then to $3, right? So there was a money made on the options as well. And when the market was selling off, you get off, and I told everybody get out. Breaks 512, get out. If you want to swing, then you use 136, but day trade, get out. This is where I said get out, and when the market puked, this went all the way to 135.30s. Imagine if we did not get out here. Our system told us to get out, and we got out. So that was the long, guys. Long here, get out here. Beautiful trade, repeatable call setup with the MTF clouds. There were some other trades today. Market was choppy, but our news bot did give us some trades. LYFT news came up, and as soon as LYFT came up, I told everybody watch it. It's gonna push. I gave like a 30-40 cent target. And that was just a prediction, but who cares, right? The news, Amazon not really buying it, but when everybody's tweeting about it, all the social media is talking about it, LYFT is going to push, right? So it went off. The nice news alert was right here until this 1340s, pushed all the way to 1380s, and there was these LYFT calls which went from like 20 cents all the way to 40 cents, 100% trade, right? You can see these news alerts as well. So those are the kind of opportunities as a professional traders we watch all day. All right, so next one we're going to talk about is Uber. So Uber was, I didn't personally trade it. I think few of other traders in the community were trading it. Uber was top watch, Goldman Sachs PD, bullish bias, but cautious of 512 calls. The support was 16. Uber kind of pushed right at the open for the long, from 512 calls all the way to 63. So that was the trade. And then it was choppy most of rest of the day. You could trade that 512 calls. Always understand the trend versus amateur move. It's very important. I also covered that same thing in Apple. That was the amateur move and the trend move, and same thing, Uber amateur move was bearish, but the trend move was bullish. So understand that, and that was a nice one there as well. So there were a few trades in the community. There was U was on our watch list. U was going, initially U was bullish, but then I saw that it's breaking 3450. So market was, then I said it's going to fill the gap, and U was a nice 2440 to 2330s, nice $1 gap fill. I mentioned it. I mentioned on the voice. But this morning was okay. There were not the crazy trades. There was a midday flush that we made some money, because the first day of the year, it's always focuses to have a green day, even if it's small. That's what I always teach everyone, to have a small day. So anyways, guys, that was it for today. Hopefully you learned something. Make sure you learn about the amateur trend moves and how to handle the choppy markets. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.